It's a beautiful day outside, and your younger sibling is begging you to go to the park. Being the college student you are, the park is lame and you'd rather be on your phone. Although upset, your little sibling still decides to go to the park. While leisurely biking to the park, a dark van pulls up, and out jumps a large man. Forcefully, your little sibling is taken from her bike and shoved into the back of a car, while kicking and screaming. Scary to think about, right? It's hard to imagine, but stuff like this happens every day in America. Kidnapping is still a common crime in America. However, thanks to a mom and an idea, and a country in need, we came up with the Amber Alert. Let's start by learning what the Amber Alert is and how it came to be. Amber Alert provides information regarding kidnapped children. The alerts include descriptions of 1, transportation, 2, the child, and 3, the abductor. Amber Alert stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. When an alert comes out, there are rules that come into play. The first being law enforcement has to confirm that an abduction has taken place. The second is the information has to be descriptive enough for the general population to properly aid in the recovery of the individual. Third, the child must be in danger. This means that the police have to have reason to believe that the child will be harmed within the next 48 hours. And lastly, the child has to be 17 years or younger. Now that you understand what Amber Alert is, I want to inform you on the story that started it all, so please listen closely. Amber Hagerman was a young girl who was riding her bike in Arlington, Texas in 1996 in an abandoned grocery store parking lot when she was forcefully taken from her bike and shoved in the back of a car. There was only one witness there, and he called the police to report it. 50+ federal agents and police officers searched strenuously for Amber. However, they found no luck. 5 days later, Amber's body turned up in a nearby river, her throat cut, and no murderer to be found. Later, after her death, Amber's mom had an idea. If local media could send out weather service alert reports, why couldn't they do the same for child abductions? The significance of Amber's case helped catapult the process of the alert and helped create a new and more effective system for finding kidnapped children. A crucial piece in understanding the effectiveness of her case is understanding how previous crimes and police activity were managed. In the early 1900s, police activity was minimal and justice was rarely served. It wasn't until 1920s or 40s that the role of a police officer became significant. Specialized agencies and departments were put in place to lower crime rate. However, they didn't help either. Crime rates were still as high. I got the opportunity to read up on multiple cases of the early 1900s on kidnappings, and it is clear to me to see that 1, investigations were short. 2, children often were never found or found dead. 3, people were wrongly convicted and the abductor was never found. To put this whole situation into perspective, in 1930, a young girl named Mary was taken from her home by a social worker and never found. In 1934, a young girl named Dorothy was taken and found dead. In 1969, 2 girls were taken from a football game and to this day are presumed dead because they were also never found. Now, these are just 3 of the cases of the many that happened in the early 1900s. That makes me wonder if during this time, if we had something like Amber Alert or technology, would this have engaged the community more and would these lives have been saved? Because of all these stories, our nation was able to create an effective way to notify the public, the Amber Alert. The Amber Alert began in Texas when broadcasters and police teamed up to create an early alert system. From 1996 to 2001, development of the Amber Alert was slow. By the end of 2001, only 4 states had implemented the Amber Alert plan. It wasn't until 2002 that Amber Alert became a nationwide focus. In 2003, the Protectment Act was implemented to strengthen law enforcement. By 2005, all states had the Amber Alert, and in 2013, the wireless alert emergency system was set up. This includes things like Twitter, Facebook, all sorts of social media. A little story to go with the last one is, on February 2013, an 8-month-old child was taken from his home. A teen had received a notification on her cell phone and reported it to her dad. Her father had found the child, and this resulted in the first successful rescue due to the wireless emergency alert. Lastly, it is important to understand how the creation of Amber Alert has benefited us now and the precautions that have resulted from it. First, I want to share with you some recent data that I have discovered. As of April 2019, 957 children have been rescued because of Amber Alert. As of April 2018, 56 children have been rescued because of the wireless emergency alert. And as of March 2019, 83 Amber Alert plans have been set up nationwide. Because we live in a technology-based society, Amber Alert is very effective. We have things like television, broadcast, radio, and cell phones that all are able to alert us. This makes it less likely for murderers to engage in criminal activity like that. My word of advice is to keep your Amber Alerts on. If you, a loved one, or a friend were taken, you would want the public to know immediately so you could have the best chance of possible recovery. Another one is on the iPhone. If you click your lock button 5 times, it discreetly calls the police. And lastly, walk in large groups, as this is a turnoff for abductors. In conclusion, the Amber Alert was developed to successfully rescue children and help them effectively bring back. Successfully, this has saved many, many lives. If you could take anything from this video, I want to say that you need to understand the effectiveness of the Amber Alert and be grateful that we've learned it. Lastly, inform your friends about the Amber Alert because one day you could save somebody's life. Thank you.